Mr. Reba, roll call.
Mr. Bonomo?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Mr. Fume?
Here.
Mrs. K?
Here.
Mr. John?
Present.
Mr. Mahalik?
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Here.
Mrs. Scarcella?
Here.
And Mr. Zola?
Okay, we want to announce one executive session held December 21st, 2016 for personnel and healthcare negotiations. And you have one? At this time, we have one recognition.
Thank you, Ms. Kay. Mr. Donati, if you'll come down to the podium, we do have a very special recognition we'd like to do this evening.
Okay, good evening. On behalf of the Hazelton Area School Districts and its Board of Education, I have the privilege of recognizing a young lady from the Hazelton Area High School for her extracurricular accomplishments. This time, I would like to introduce Miss Angelina Umbriak. Ms. Umbriak has been chosen to perform in the All-Eastern Treble Honors Ensemble. She was chosen from students from the northeastern part of the United States, from Maine to Virginia. This is an amazing opportunity that happens every 2 years. Ms. Umbriak is only the second student from the Hazelton Area School District that has been chosen for this ensemble. Her rehearsals will be held Wednesday through Saturday, April 5th through the 8th of 2017 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The concert will be held at the Adrian Phillips Hall, Boardwalk Hall at 2 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Angelina Umbriak.
And Angelina, may I just add, having lived in the music world for over a decade, I certainly recognize and understand the gravity of this selection for you, and this is a huge accomplishment. And you bring so much pride to the Hazelton Area School District and the high school. This music accomplishment is second to none, and we're sure you will represent us very well, and it's quite an honor. Congratulations.
We will have a brief overview of the audit by our audit group, Mally.
Good evening. I know you're busy and have a lot to get through, so I'll make this as quick as possible. First thing I want to point out is on page 3 of the report. This is our independent auditor's report. This is basically our opinion on your financial statements. It's basically what it is 3 pages that says that, in our opinion, the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects. If you start over on page 6, this starts management's discussion and analysis. That goes all the way over to page 14. So the MD&A section is management's opportunity to tell the reader what happened during the year and why the changes happened that changed. Over on page 14 is the statement of net position. So this is like the balance sheet for the school district on if you would liken it to a for-profit corporation. So it includes all of your debt and all of your capital assets and things like that. So you have total assets of $157 million, deferred outflows of resources of $35 million. Those are related to the pensions. You have total liabilities of $376 million. So your net position is a negative $185 million. That is a direct result of the $208 million pension liability that's now on the balance sheet. While we're on this page, I'll just point out that in the coming years, the OPEB unfunded liability for the OPEB is also going to have to go on this statement as well. So your total net position next year will be even worse than it is this year. Over on the next page is the income statement on the government-wide basis. So the way you read this is top to bottom, left to right. So the first column lists all the expenses by function. The program revenues go across the top, and then general revenues are at the bottom. So as you can see, for the governmental activities section, your program expenses were $106 million more than your program revenues. Those are all made up by the general revenues, which are the taxes. Over on page 16 is the balance sheet for the governmental funds. This is, these funds are more based on the current resources. So there's no debt on these, there's no capital assets or things like that. It's only things that are satisfied with current resources. So you have total assets of, in the general fund of 30.7 million, total liabilities of 23.1 million, so your fund balance is $7.5 million. Over on the next page is just a reconciliation from the government-wide to the fund balance. Over on page 18 is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the governmental funds. So for the general fund, you can see that there was total revenues of 133 million for the year, total expenditures of 138 million for a loss of $5 million. I don't think I need to point out that the district cannot afford to keep losing that kind of money every year. Over on the next page, it's just a reconciliation from the government-wide income statement to the fund level income statement. Next page, page 20, is the budget to actual for the general fund. So this shows the final budgets for the year and then the actual amounts. So the final budgeted amount for revenues was around 137 million, which came in almost 4 million under budget. The expenditures were budgeted for 140,800,000, and they came in about 2.4 million under budget. So you budgeted for a $3.8 million loss, and it was instead 5.3 million. The next few pages are just the food service fund, the balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of cash flows for the proprietary funds. The only other thing that I would like to point out before I end my presentation is if you flip all the way back to page 52, this is where you're going to see going forward, since 2015 was our first year, 2016 is the second year, but going forward you'll see 10 years of information here. We'll build it as we go along. But I just wanted to point out the unfunded pension liability increased $30 million from last year to this year. I know that you know, there's not really much that the district can do about that since your hands are tied by the state, but I just wanted to point that out. So if there's no questions or if anybody has any questions or. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
When does the good news come?
Okay, public comment on agenda items. Did anyone sign up, Jared?
You're right. Tony, when do we get the good news? There is no good news.
Teresa Redwinski.
Good evening, Teresa Redwinski from Drums and president of the HAESPA. I'm going to ask the board to take a look at possibly putting a hold on tabling item number 34, which is the job description for the student registration coordinator. I haven't had an opportunity to even see what is coming forth, and I think that it would suit much better for us to meet with the administration and Mr. Briggs and those involved with the job to make sure that it's correct, since it is a new position, instead of going forward with it and then having issues with it down the road. It's not something that's pressing that.
Does anyone have a problem with pulling this from the agenda? No? 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 Anyone?
No.
Okay,
34.
yeah, we'll table.
Thank you.
We're also going to be taking off of the agenda tonight number 9. So 9 and 34 will be off the agenda. Any other public comment, Jared?
No.
Okay. We need to approve the board minutes from the regular monthly board meeting
So
from
moved.
November 22nd,
Second.
December 6th. Roll call?
On the minutes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, minutes are approved.
Treasurer's report.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
On the treasurer's report, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Okay, with the regular agenda now, approving items 1 through 5
So
with
moved.
one
Second.
motion.
Second.
Any questions on 1 through 5?
Roll call.
Numbers 1 through 5, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 6 through 12 with
So
one
moved.
motion
Second.
except for number 9.
Roll call.
Numbers 6 through 12, excluding number 9, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 13 through 22
So
with
moved.
one
Second.
motion.
Roll call.
Numbers 13 through 22, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 23 through 34 with the exception of number 34
So
with one
moved.
motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Numbers 23 through 33, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
35 bills.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Number 35, A through D, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 36 through 45 with one motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Numbers 36 through 45, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 46 through 57 with one motion.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Numbers 46 through 57, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 58 through 63 with
So
one
moved.
motion.
Second.
We're excluding 62 on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Reba.
Or no, I'm sorry, we're not.
Oh,
We're keeping
yeah.
it, I'm sorry,
Correct.
my mistake.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on 58 to 63?
Roll call.
All in favor of 58 through 63, say aye.
Aye.
No on 61.
No on 61.
Ayes have it, noting the no votes for Mr. Bonomo, Mr. John, and Mr. Zola.
Item number 64, recommend board approve Matt Scarcella as assistant principal at a salary of $89,001, excuse me, as per the administrator's agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
64, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I would like to abstain on 64.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, noting Mrs. Garcella's abstention.
Mrs. President, if I may ask Dr. Butler if there's anyone in the audience that we've hired this evening, welcome him to our family.
Thank you, Mr. Mahalik. If you were recently appointed, as of just a few minutes ago, if you would please stand so we can recognize you at this time.
Oh, he's not.
May we say congratulations. Welcome to the school district. Nice Christmas present, huh? And
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
we're pleased to have you. We hope you have a fulfilling and enriching experience in our district. I'm extremely proud of the Hazleton Area School District. We have wonderful employees here, and we have terrific students. we hope you will enjoy your experience here and have a great career as well. Ms. Kay?
Any other board members have a comment?
I'm sorry, please, Mr. John.
I would like to know, since I sat in on those interviews the other night for the vice principal, are we establishing a hiring list for the people who were up there, the top 3?
We said that we would discuss that in executive session. We
I thought maybe you
decided
did it
to
tonight
wait until
since I
all
couldn't
of
make
us were together since there were so many missing. So we'll discuss that at the next
Okay, I
executive
appreciate that.
session. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes, Mrs. President. If I may, I think it is a wonderful night. I know it's a very festive time, but sadly this week we lost two wonderful members of our community, one tremendous young teacher, and I just, on behalf of the board, would like to send out condolences to the families and friends.
And I would second that because I knew one of those people too. It's probably the person you're talking about. Great kid. And in fact, I coached him in high school. I knew him for a long time. Very sad. My condolences go out to his wife, his parents, and his entire family. The very sad circumstances.
Any other board members? Okay, we'll open it up to public comment.
I don't know.
No? Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Merry Christmas.
Mrs. Herman, please wait.